Osho, I don't know really what the thing is that you had with this Jack fella, but here's the thing. You're kind of right and you're kind of wrong. What I mean by wrong is, on your perspective about God. But basically, you're right one thing. I mean, hey, trying to tell you about the universe and things like this as an argument for God, well, in part, yeah, I mean, what is that compared to trying to convince someone who's an atheist? Alright, now, let me just give you a little standpoint from a Christian's point of view. I'm not talking about people who claim to be Christians. There's a lot of them that do that. But I'm talking about someone, who is a Christian. Now, the basis of our faith and belief in God is through this. Okay, there in the arguments, I guess if we could give anything to you through the book, is Genesis chapter 1, 2, and 3. Also St. John, the Gospel of John, the first chapter. And also in the book of Romans, beginning at, start at verse 18 through, we'll say, to 25. Alright, and also Hebrews chapter 11, 1 through 7. See, what it really sums up to when it comes to what we believe in, we see our hope is that those who don't believe will see. But the only way you or anyone who doesn't believe is going to see it unless, God opens your eyes to it, you're not going to see it. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to do in this brief video, is just to say those passages pretty much says it all. There's more, but sum it up into a Reader's Digest version. That's what I would say to you, especially in Hebrews, because see, it's based on faith, not on science, not on human logic, but it's based on faith. And that's what I wanted to add. If you're not going to believe, you're not going to believe unless God reveals himself to you. And I think there's times a lot of us who love God, in our zeal, sometimes we want so much to try to convince you. But you can't fault us for trying. I mean, that is our job. But let me just say, okay, there has been people, as yourself, who does not believe and wanted some kind of physical evidence of some sort. Well, the kind of evidences they got wasn't the kind of evidence they was looking for. But there is some people, for instance, who had not ever been looking for God, period. In fact, they hated the idea of God. But for some reason, something happened, not even being around people who was preaching, not even around a radio, didn't have a Bible. But God had revealed himself to them. Otherwise, why did they start preaching about God, about how that Yeshua, HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, had revealed himself to them? Think about it. I mean, that's not something one just imagines. The Apostle Paul is one example. But there are others throughout history, and even in modern times today, this has happened to. So, Paul himself, in his day, he would have been the equivalent of today's terrorist. He hated anyone that was preaching or teaching about Jesus. but something happened to him to turn him around, because he was persecuting them. So, I mean, this ought to give you some thought to think about. Can I convince you? Come on, really, do you think I could? Nah. There's only one who can, and that's God. But I just wanted to have those few words and mention that to you. And like I said, I don't know Brother Jack. You know, I know another Brother Jack, but not the one you're talking about. But give him a break, will you? He loves God, obviously, or he wouldn't be trying to convince you. You know, that is our job. So, I hope that you have a good day, and I hope God blesses you. Shalom, aho.